It's Thursday, the 22nd of June, 2023. Welcome to the Fast Five by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Good morning, Michael.
Sean, 5 stories, 5 minutes. Let's jump straight into story number 1. The Australian property market is headed for a steady recovery over the next year. But how about this? House prices in some cities are expected to be back to record levels by the middle of 2024.
That's according to the Domain forecast report released today. It says house prices in Sydney, Adelaide and Hobart will achieve the biggest gains. Sydney, Adelaide and Perth homes could be trading around record levels within 12 months. In the unit market, prices in Brisbane, Adelaide and Hobart are forecast to reach new highs. That's pretty remarkable given we are still in a rising interest rate environment. Overall, houses will do better than units, according to Domain. Now, regional Australia is expected to return to a more traditional price pattern with a slower pace of growth anticipated compared to the capitals. Of the capital cities, Domain forecasts that Melbourne's recovery will be most sluggish for house prices. Some unit prices in that city may still have a ways to fall. Canberra is also expected to underperform most other capitals.
Sean, it's good news, obviously, for homeowners that prices have bottomed and are now rising. Is this because of immigration?
Well, population pressure is definitely the main consideration, reckons Domain's Chief of Research and Economics, Nicola Powell. The push to lift temporary and permanent visa grants to alleviate skills shortages as well as international students is behind the jump in migration. There's also a lack of new supply, and that part of the equation is having a different effect in different geographies. One factor that will keep a lid on prices, though, is affordability, Powell says. And another factor to keep a watch on is serviceability buffers, how much extra a borrower says the lender needs to be able to pay before giving them a loan. A little bit of movement with the Commonwealth Bank on that yesterday. Reckon we'll hear more about that in the next couple of months.
Okay, on to story number 2. And the biggest shareholder in AGL Energy, billionaire Mike Cannon-Brookes, has sold down his stake to free up money for investments in clean energy.
Yep, took about $50 billion off the table. Cannon-Brookes, who is co-founder of Atlassian, said the power company remains his largest investment. He's also the largest shareholder of AGL. Now, his company, Grok Ventures, said it remains supportive of the energy group. He still wants AGL to close more of its coal-fired power stations. Cannon-Brookes' surprise move in May last year to almost 11.3% of AGL allowed him to lead a campaign to stop management's plan to split the company in two. Ultimately, his success led to an implosion in the management and board of AGL. It also accelerated plans for closing coal power stations. Grok now owns about 10.4% of AGL.
Okay, story number 3, Sean. Australia's richest man, Andrew Forrest, and his wife, Nicola, have donated almost $5 billion worth of Fortescue Metals Group shares to their own charity, the Minderoo Foundation.
The couple confirmed they'll donate 1/5 of their shareholding in Fortescue, 220 million shares, to Minderoo to create what they called lasting change and the greatest possible good. According to the Financial Review, the Minderoo Foundation supports marine and medical research, Indigenous programs, as well as anti-slavery project Walk Free, which is run by their daughter Grace. It means Minderoo's endowment will be about $7.6 billion. It doesn't actually think that it's going to expand where it's spending its money. There's just going to be a lot more money for those programs. Andrew Forrest said charities and foundations to whom the family had given Fortescue stock in the past had always done better if they had held the shares and grown on the dividends rather than selling stock. What that means is that there's not going to be a wholesale sale of Fortescue stock. Minderoo is going to hold on to it and enjoy the dividends.
Yeah, pretty remarkable story, that one. On to story number 4, Sean, remarkable for another reason. Former US President Donald Trump said he did not turn over presidential records to the National Archives because he was busy and had not yet had time to remove personal items from boxes packed at the White House.
Quite the excuse. Trump was charged earlier this month and pleaded not guilty on 37 felony counts related to his retention of classified documents and obstruction of justice. The federal government recovered more than 300 documents with classified markings from Trump after he left the White House. Now, during an interview with Fox News, Trump was asked about a portion of the indictment that alleges he ordered an aide to move documents after they were requested by the government. His response, he said he wanted to take his things out of the boxes first, and I quote, "These boxes were interspersed with all sorts of things. Golf shirts, clothing, pants, shoes. There were many things."
Okay, last one, Sean. Story number 5. The annual Skytrax Awards have been announced. These are global ratings of airlines, and Singapore Airlines has been named number 1. But a big mover in the wrong direction was Qantas, which went from the 5th best airline in the world all the way down to number 17.
Yes, these awards are based on thousands of passenger satisfaction surveys, and Singapore came in at number 1, leapfrogging Qatar Airways. Fiji Air was named the best carrier for the Australia Pacific region, pushing Qantas back to number 2. Now, Qatar Airways claimed the best business class airline, while Singapore Airlines won the best first class. Eva Air, Taiwanese carrier, it won the gong for best premium economy cabin. Best economy class cabin went to Japan Airlines. In terms of Qantas's rankings, 13th in business class, 6th in premium economy, 11th in first class, and 13th in economy class. The other big mover in the wrong direction was British Airways, while Cathay Pacific, Eva Air, and Fiji Airways all jumped quite a few places, Michael.
All right, there we go. The top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
It's Thursday, the 22nd of June, 2023. Remember to hit follow on the podcast. And if 5 minutes isn't enough, you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed, wherever you listen to podcasts. And that comes with a bunch of interviews and things. Today's interview is a great one, all about property prices and what we can expect over the next year or so. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.